Welcome to this week's End of Days Update, coming to you from Alma, Arkansas. We had such a great time here. The people were so hungry, had great crowds, had good healings, good miracles. People are so excited about the coming of the Lord. And we're coming to you every week to look at the different things that point to the coming of the Lord, specifically the gathering of nations for the Ezekiel 38 war. Because the rapture is signless, but the second coming has sign after sign after sign. So we're paying attention to what happened, and man, something keeps happening. 2 or 3 things keep happening every week that kind of shock me. So let's pick up with what's happened this last week, because remember, Jesus rebuked them. He said, hey, you can tell what the weather's going to be, but you don't know your hour of visitation. So let's look at what happened this week around Israel. Several things that were very precise. Israel came out verbally and publicly saying that it kind of freaked them out how Iran had such precise missile activity when they bombed the American base in Iraq. Say their precision was within 10 feet. For Israel to say that means they're going to have to do something about it, so they probably will. You had incendiary balloons from the Gaza come over into southern Israel, and the Hamas said they're going to keep doing that. Well, Israel's going to have to do something because they haven't been doing anything in the last couple of weeks. Another thing happened this last week. You had a missile depot being taken out by Israeli Air Force right by Damascus again. That's like the 4th week in a row that that's happened. You don't hear any word of it in America, but the Israeli newspapers and Israeli media keep talking about it a lot, so it's really crazy. But man, more and more things that are real particular to the coming of the Lord keep happening. You had something this week. You have the Holocaust Memorial Forum that's happening this week. 49 leaders from all over the world are coming together in Jerusalem for that. And the rabbi said this is the prophecy in Psalms chapter 48 coming to pass. So, man, they've been waiting for this. This is where the kings gather in Jerusalem. That's what they called it. So that's pretty cool. You had another thing that happened. You have more of these tangible things keep happening. You had a river that they just found from Jerusalem going down into the Dead Sea. It's a brand new one that's been unearthed, and it's bringing fresh water into the Dead Sea, fish in the Dead Sea, and bringing life to that desert area, because it's a real desert area. They're going just by Jericho over to the Dead Sea. So, I mean, you have tangible physical things happening that are pointing to the coming of the Lord. You had Iran this week. One of their members of parliament offer a $3 million reward for an assassination of President Trump. So it's crazy to see what's going on with there. You had a nuclear watchdog company come out saying that Iran will have nuclear fissile material by the end of this year. So with them literally coming out with that publicly, you know what Israel will have to do. They'll have to protect themselves, because they can't let Iran get a nuclear weapon where they could take out Tel Aviv or take out the whole country. So everything is leading up to exactly what the Bible says. One thing after another is coming to pass. You had an earthquake in Tennessee this week. Last week you had a rash of earthquakes. You had a rash of volcanic eruptions. I like that last week you had the bathing areas around the temple got full of water. First time in 2,000 years. So you have many, many things happening. You got the Israelis are getting ready for the President Trump's team to come over to Israel. In the middle of that, you had Netanyahu and Benny Gantz say that they were going to go ahead and annex that land there in the Jordan Valley. So they were doing that in place of getting ready for that stuff to come. So a lot of things are getting ready to happen when those implementations of what America's bringing for Israel to have peace with the Palestinians. What's amazing is the Palestinians already rejected it and they haven't even seen it yet. But we're living in such a cool time that event after event after event. You've got Russia doing so many things that are provocative about trying to start World War III. But I think we're a little bit away from that. But man, you're looking at the players come on the field and the setup and the stage is set up for Jesus to come back. How amazing is it to watch it unfold right in front of our eyes? So what do? We always go back to the scriptures. You got Israel made a nation. You got Jerusalem won back. You got the Hebrew language restored. You got the Ethiopian Jews brought back. You got the fertility of the land of Israel. It's pretty wild. You got the Temple Mount Institute there. You have the revival of the Roman Empire. You have 172 different species of predatory birds. So you got fish showing up in the Dead Sea, first time in 2,700 years. You had foxes show up on the Temple Mount a few weeks ago. That's Lamentations 5:18. So you have all these tangible things coming to pass. Pretty radical. Men will be lovers themselves. We have selfie sticks. So we get into this every week, but then you got signals. You had blood red moons on Passover and Tabernacles. That's wild. When's the last time you had 4 in a row on Passover and Tabernacles? 1967 when Jerusalem was won back. 1948 when Israel was made a nation. 1492 with the Edict of Expulsion. So that's pretty crazy. Then you had the Bethlehem Star this last year. Jupiter, Regulus, Venus. First time in 2,000 years. So you have signals, you got signs, you got events, you got everything pointing to how close we are to the coming of the Lord. You had Egyptian tanks go into Libya. Then you had Turkey come down from there. There's a lot of stuff going on with Turkey right now that is absolutely blatant about the coming of the Lord. A lot of stuff about the Pope that's blatant about the coming of the Lord. So what do? As believers, we help our local church. We help our local pastors. We go, okay, Lord, what would you have me to do? We have an all-hands-on-deck mentality. Just like when the 2-minute warning sign sounds in a football game, it's not escape theology, it's a hustle theology. You have to have an adamancy about making the plays before the clock runs out. The church has to get that mentality. I mean, listen, when you have a gathering of kings and the rabbis say, is Psalms 48 coming to pass? And then you have all these tangible things like this happening that are scriptures coming to pass. It's pretty radical. Now, every week I can't get into everything that happens, but man, it's all laid out right in front of us. So we're very privileged. We're going to get to see Jesus face to face. How cool is that? King of kings and Lord of lords, bright and morning star, lily of the valley, firstborn from the dead. We're about to see Him as God. Man, have a blessed, awesome week. Look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us today at the End of Days Update. If you'd like to be notified every time there's a new post, just go to the EDU at josephmorris.com and subscribe to receive email alerts. If these posts and updates have been a blessing to you, please consider making a one-time donation to help get the message out, or even becoming a monthly partner with Joseph Morris Ministries. Thanks again for tuning in to the EDU, and we'll see you next week.